Top 10 worst. God damn. You ready? He's ready. All right, number 10. Number 10. Miller's Girl. This is a movie that it doesn't bother me that much as to where I'm just surprised that it exists. It was a huge controversy because they're like, Jenna Ortega is like 18 and he's 52 and it's a sex movie. Oh my God, the age difference. One, I don't give a damn about age. Two, I'm like, I wish they had sex. That would have been something. Nothing happens, and that's what shocks me about this movie. It's in 10th place because it's a movie without a conflict. With all the controversy, you would imagine something crazy happened. I'm like, it shows you that the people who wrote the articles never watch it. They never have sex. They don't do anything. There's no problem in the movie. She has to write a book report. She writes a book report about Miller's Girl or whatever the hell that is. She writes like she has a crush on a teacher. Some other teacher talks about banging a student. He kind of has conflict with his wife. He kind of doesn't. You can't tell. And they never have sex. And that's it. It's over. He like tells her to write a different book report. She gets really mad. She's like, you're going to fail me? The only thing sexy about this movie is looking at Jenna Ortega in a skirt. And that's it. That's the only part of the movie that I liked. I didn't hate the movie. I watched it ready for like, this movie's going to be crazy. Everybody's talking about like, oh my God, he's banging students. I thought that was going to be a conflict. He bangs a student, gets in trouble, and it's going to be like a court trial or something. I'm like, no, nothing happens. I was like, boring. Amazed it got made. I'm like, this is a movie without a conflict. Number, how many fingers do I got? 9? Madam Web. So bad it's good. That's why it's not higher up. A lot of people watch this and they're like, it's number 1. I'm like, I don't think it's number 1 because I'm like, it was entertainingly stupid. Dakota Johnson can't act. The villain has spider powers, yet he's afraid he's going to get thrown out of a window, which is silly. He's wearing another villain's outfit from the comic books. He's dressed like Kane. Sydney Sweeney does not look like a nerd at all. None of those girls. They're all too attractive to be nerds. Dakota Johnson's brilliant plan. She's like, I'm going to abandon you 3 girls in the middle of the woods and come back whenever. I was like, this is the stupidest lead character I've ever seen in my entire life. And I love that all of them ragged in it. Sydney Sweeney ended up getting more famous. Dakota Johnson kept making fun of her own movie and the marketing of the movie. And they end up fighting in a big Pepsi thing. And the girls never put their freaking suits on throughout the whole movie. That was misleading. They should get sued for false advertisement. They never become the team. It's in his head. It's in a goddamn dream. And he has the most 80-yard vocals I've ever heard. So, ridiculous. Number 8. I'm looking at my list right here. I got the whole list right here. Number 8 is Craven. This one's not so bad it's good. This movie's just boring and bland. They have a long backstory of him and as a kid. He doesn't take his brother with him when he goes and vanishes. How he gets superpowers is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen superpowers gotten in such a stupid-ass way. A lion mauls him, drops him off in front of a girl for some reason, drips blood into his blood, which is gross. And then the girl's like, I conveniently have a magic vial given to me by my witch doctor voodoo grandmother, who died, and then I never saw her again. That's a real line. And she drips at him, he gets powers, and she's like, oh, you have powers. What a weird way to get superpowers. I've never seen a stupider way in any movie. That's first place. Like, y'all thought Morbius got powers in a stupid way. I'm like, this guy got powers in the dumbest way I have ever seen in my life. So, and he's not Craven, he's not bad. I hate Sony making all the bad guys good, because I'm like, all right, who's going to fight Spider-Man if you're going to make all the villains into heroes? You know what I mean? Sinister Six. They all like you because they're all good. No conflict. What do we got now? Number 7. Godzilla X Kong. You watch Godzilla -1. You watch the American version of Godzilla. You realize the Japanese have higher IQs for a reason. They're smarter people for a reason. They have a better society for a reason because they are just a better population of people who understand how to do cinema, and they're more intelligent than us dogs here in America. Godzilla X Kong is a perfect example of just American cinema and Godzilla -1 Japanese cinema. They understand the character. These people are intelligent. This is written for dumbasses by dumbasses. So, yeah, look at this. Hot. That movie's just stupid. I was like, this CGI nonsense. And if you just showed the conflict at the end, the fight, I would pay the same price just to watch that fight go, aha, that was fun. And then leave. But the fact that I have to wait 2 hours for that fight through human bullshit is boring. Terrible CGI, by the way. Number 6. Damsel. Damsel is Mippity Boppity Bops, Netflix run where she has like her female fucking, what's that detective called? Sherlock Holmes and Enola Holmes. Boring movie. I'm gonna get her off my screen. Get the hell off my screen. No offense. Put John Campbell on my screen. She's too distracted. You can't be looking at her when you're trying to look at me or this guy. So anyways, Damsel is just a movie that is senseless. She spends the entire time trying to get out of a cave that she gets thrown into, like some mountain, that there's a dragon there by the royal elites because they're trying to keep the dragon at bay. And then she gets out of the goddamn place, and then she goes right back. And then she comes back at the end like, look, I'm a boss now because I convinced the dragon that you're the bad ones. I'm like, how did you guys brainwash this dragon and thinking she's royalty by dripping your blood onto her or whatever the hell? I'm like, this dragon has the IQ of a goldfish, and apparently it's supposed to be smart the way it talks. 2, I still don't understand why the dragon even side over. 3, I'm like, you left, then you went back in, so that whole part of the movie is pointless. The first, 50 minutes of the movie is pointless. The fact she leaves and comes back. So you wasted your time with what the synopsis of the movie is her trying to escape a dragon. I'm like, no, because that doesn't matter when she does. Number 5, The Deliverance. I don't understand why this movie got very popular for when it did. It was a talked about film as if it was something. It was nothing. It was a nothing movie about a nothing story. The real life story is a woman keeping her kids out of school and then making up an excuse that they were haunted by demons so she could not have to worry about driving them to school. She just seems like a mom who didn't want responsibility over her kids. Then the movie is just, they have some interesting dynamic with, their mother who's overly strict and she's also an alcoholic. Their grandmother who's crazy, played by, I think, Glenn Close. And, Child Protective Services coming to get them. That part of the movie is interesting, but when they all of a sudden say demons are here and we have to get rid of them, that part of the movie feels so out of place and so tacked on. So it's like someone had a script for a story of family drama that was good, and then they're like, well, people don't want to watch drama. Let's throw some ghost in it. And there's no evidence of ghosts, no evidence that makes any sense, them being haunted by demons. And if they try to pass it on as a metaphorical thing, it doesn't really work. So it was a movie that I was baffled watching because I'm like, all right, here's a movie in itself. And then it all of a sudden becomes into a haunting movie. It makes no sense. And then it turns into God Saves Us movie. And I was like, none of that made any sense. So it's 2 acts of a movie and then a third act that you're like, what the hell just happened? So very, very just mind-numbing movie. Number 4, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Number 4. Y2K. I wanted to leave that theater. I feel like I said number 6 for the last one. I think I'm losing track of these numbers. Don't mind me. Y2K, I went to leave the movie. I thought it was so stupid. I was watching. I was like, this is dumb. This guy, Kyle, whatever the hell, Kyle Mooney has a 10-year-old's brain. He made a movie for 10-year-olds. This might as well be animated. It's just too silly. I couldn't stand watching it. I really wanted to leave watching it, but it was late at night. There was 30 minutes of commercials before it, and then there's 10 minutes of trailer, so I already waited so long to see it. Rachel Zegler has a hot face, and that's the only positive about the movie. And I just couldn't stomach any second of it. Past the first act, past where, the buildup of the 90s nostalgia to Y2K happening, as soon as that sequence starts and people are holding machinery up to their necks and to their mouths and stuff like that willingly, and people are putting their heads in microwaves, when I'm like, you could just not have your head in the microwave because the microwave didn't come to eat, you came to it. Then I was like, all right, this is retarded. So by the time it was over, and they had Limp Bizkit in the movie, and he was in it for so long, overstayed his welcome. It's like the guy just stood on set and they're like, all right, I guess we have to put you in the rest of the movie. Lowest IQ movie I've seen in the longest time. Number 3, Joker 2. Joker 2 in isolation could be a good movie. If it came out first and then it led into the previous Joker film somehow, let's say he doesn't die, he had some history as the Joker, he lost his fame as the Joker. I made a whole video about this. But as a sequel to that Joker, it is just the most disappointing movie you could have ever made. He never escapes for more than a few seconds. He never really becomes the Joker. Never really. He has a little court moment. That's the best part of the whole movie. The musical sequences mean nothing. All these musical numbers that just tell you things that you're witnessing, so they're not giving you any insight into his inner monologues. They're not giving you any new information. Harley Quinn is nothing like Harley Quinn. I hate Lady Gaga. I don't like Lady Gaga. They just had Lady Gaga, and they're like, because we have her, make this a musical and make her Harley Quinn. Because the guy he probably she probably flirted with him. And he's like, all right, I'm going to throw you in the movie. And then he felt guilty about the violence in the previous film. And then he's like, all right, I got to make an anti-violence film. He's not Joker. No one is. Lame. Joker's an idea for violence. I'm like, if you don't like that he glorifies violence, don't do something about the Joker. His whole mentality is he's pro-violence. If you don't like that, don't make a Joker movie. Fuck out of here. Just, you had the first one, it was good. That's all you needed then. If you had a problem with the thematic element of the character, don't make a sequel. Number 2. Another movie I was dying to leave. Dying to leave. And that is Beetle Juice 2. Another sequel. Beetle Juice 2, I understand people like it. I was like, this is so stupid. There's comedy. There's wacky comedy. And then there's this stupid comedy. And this was so stupid. And it was so long. Nothing landed for me. Every joke was so bad. Every comedic beat was so off. I mean, outside of looking at Jenna Ortega's face and looking at Beetlejuice himself in the whole get-up again, I was like, there's nothing else I care for in this movie. I think, what was it, Bob, shrunken head guy? He's funny. But I'm like, you have the wife that you introduced. You could have done so many cool things with her. Like, she could have, been the main villain of the whole movie. But she isn't really. She's just in it and she's out. I mean, there is no real plot. It's a series of events that should have been done as episodes of a TV show. Make 6 episodes where these are 6 individual conflicts. You got the wedding conflict. Lydia acts nothing like Lydia anymore, which is very sad. Her daughter acts like her now. Winona Ryder is acting like Winona Ryder. But you have the wedding conflict with the husband trying to just be a part of something. Her fame, her fortune. You got the wife looking for her husband who's in half. You got Beetlejuice running from his ex-wife that she's sucking. She's killing ghosts. She's killing people who are already dead. You got Wednesday and her serial killer boyfriend. And you got a detective looking for things. Like, these could have been their own individual stuff. But in a movie, it just felt like I had no idea what to do. Every day I woke up, I came up with a new idea, and I just put them in a blender and tried to make a movie out of it. So, yeah. Beetlejuice 2, I was dying to leave. And then it felt like it had another ending. The ending kept going on. I'm like, God. Fucking end. End! And then, number 1, Strangers Chapter 1. I'm a big Strangers fan. I think the first one is a solid, good slasher movie. I think the second one is 2/3 of a good movie. I think it has terrible, annoying buildup, but I mean, when they actually get to the killing, it's a good time. It was stylistic. It had some good cinematography, some great music. It was a good time. It's underrated. This movie, I don't know what the hell this was. This was like a first-time filmmaker, and he got on set, and someone immediately hit him in the head with a sledgehammer and said, "Here, finish the movie now." Like, I just couldn't. I was baffled by what I was seeing. The 2 dumbest characters of all time. When people make fun of horror movie characters, these are making horror. Like, felt like a parody of a horror movie. It felt like the Wayans brothers making a movie. It felt like a movie making fun of horror movies. They were so dumb. So, yeah. And the fact it's Chapter 1, because they're going to lead you into Chapter 2, I'm like, this did nothing but bad things for that sequel. This was anti-marketing for that sequel. I watched it, and as a Strangers fan, I was so sad, because I was so looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to it. And then when I saw the first trailer, I started looking forward to it a lot less, because I was like, oh, don't tell me you're just remaking the first one. And then I watched it, I'm like, oh, this is just the first one, but made by, like, a brain-dead guy. Made by a goddamn zombie. It made it... no words. Hated watching. I left mad. And it's hard to make me mad watching a movie. Like, usually movies, if they're really bad, they just make me exhausted. I'm just like, finally it's over. This made me mad. I was generally mad. I'm like, I can't believe this is how far the Strangers has fallen. Because I'm like, that first movie was very effectively scary. So you got a great slasher franchise. But of course, like a lot of slasher franchises, the first one's good, the rest suck. And I'm like, the dramatic downfall from the second one to this one, Pray at Night to this one, dramatic. Those are my top 10 worst movies. What are yours? Comment down below. Give me a list. I want to read lists. Read lists in the comments. And if you liked any movies that I hated, let me know. And like and subscribe.